Impoverishment of corruptors doesn't necessarily mean that these corruptors will be living under the poverty in a sense that they cannot eat, drink, or getting education for their children. It just means that the state will be taking the amount of money and the same amount that they take from the state, which means that the state is only taking its right with just 50% of fine that they need to pay. And this is just to make up for their mistakes. And we believe that by doing impoverishment, the corruptors number will decrease. This is because the motivation of the corruption itself is basically the money. Many people now continue to corrupt because they thought they know that even if they corrupt, they will not get impoverished and their money that they stole will always be with them so that they feel safe. They continue to corrupt again and again, even after they release from jail. And even inside the jail itself, there might be bribery so that many of the corruptors actually live in a very comfortable way in the jail. So that the proposed solution of just making them inside the jail is not gonna be applicable because bribery is still a high thing, a high risk at this current status because they have the money to bribe, and then they could actually bribe people to give them a luxurious jail so that they don't even feel deterrent and they could even feel like they are very comfortable just like inside their house, which will give them no lessons. It's not even gonna give them any regrets. And then if we do impoverishment, the motivation, we approach it from the motivation that they have, which is the money too, so that they will think twice when they do corruptions. Maybe they will get rich, but the rate is very high right now after the impoverishment is applied. Which with the impoverishment, if they get caught corrupt, they will be even more poor than they were before. And of course, this will demolish the motivations that these people have before. These people will think twice because they think now the choice is either poor or rich, but if they get caught, they know that the possible answer is to be poor. But also, the corruptors doesn't necessarily mean that they will be very poor. They will still be able to afford their daily lives because the money that is taken, apart from the fine, and also there's no money taken apart from the fine and also the money that they take from the state, which means that they could still afford their life and their necessities by using their salary and savings that they have got before. So they will still have a decent life and still have a right of food security and also education. And even if the worst case that might happen if they do become poor, then the country has to give incentive to them. The amount of money that the country have to give in giving incentive to them is still smaller than the money that they take. So that if they give us money for the fine and also the right of the state, it will be still more beneficial for the country because the amount of the incentive that they will give is not as much. And by having this fine, more people life could be better. And also for the education, the rights of education that for the children of the characters is still can still be achieved because there are many free schools and also university with cheaper prices and even scholarships. And the scholarships, of course, doesn't have any requirements on who the parent should be is. There's no requirements that the parent should not be corruptors and so on. And even if we're talking about the right of education, when the fine is got by the state, more people that actually need the education or even any social assistance will be more helped because the money that the state has will be more, and then more people who needs it can be afforded. And then um, the corruption itself could be stopped because then, as it is said, that many people will not be able to work again because they are corruptors and has been published. Now, at this current status, they could not bribe anyone to accept them to work in a certain company because they simply don't are not as rich, so that the risk for the bribery is of course lower, so that the corruption can be stopped from the same person, so that the same person cannot corrupt again and again since they have lower chance for it. And then the corruptors could also, and to prevent stealing or any crime actions from the corruptors, we will also be giving them a skill building course which will be able to make them have new knowledge and new skills in providing them to create their own business. And several mini jobs would also be open for them. But when they get a job, there should also be a weekly finance report so that these people could still be monitored, and any actions of corruptions that might possibly happen would be prevented. And since they are not as rich anymore, the risk for them to bribe in manipulating the report is also lower, so that this financial report could be more transparent. And so to wrap it up, this impoverishment would be able to solve corruption, as it will stop the same people to corrupt again, and also decrease the room for bribery, and also to make them think twice about how they will sacrifice their family.